All right, let's talk about something really important today. How to get the skills you actually need for the career you want. We're going to take a look at a place called Divas Technology College, which was built from the ground up to do just that.
But before we dive in, let me ask you something, and I want you to really think about it. Is the education you have right now, or the one you're getting, truly preparing you for the world as it is today? You know, the digital world. It's a tough question, and for a lot of people, the honest answer is maybe not. And look, that feeling, it's not just in your head. It points to a huge challenge that we're seeing all over. In Kenya, and especially in places like Kilifi County, you have so many smart, talented people graduating, but they're stepping into the job market and realizing there's a disconnect. They're missing the specific, hands-on, market-ready skills that employers are begging for.
Okay, so here's our game plan for this. First, we'll really define this gap in education. Then we'll look at a super practical solution. We'll break down their awesome learn, practice, and earn model, hear from some students who've been through it, and finally, we'll talk about how you can actually get started yourself.
So, let's start right there. Section 1, understanding this gap. Think of it as a missing bridge between finishing your schooling and actually starting a career you love. So this disconnect, it actually has a name. It's called the skills gap. It's that empty space between knowing about something and knowing how to do it. And this is exactly why Divas Technology College was started in Kilifi County. They saw this gap and said, we're going to build the bridge for students, for young people, even for small business owners.
Which brings us right to our next point. If that's the problem, what's the solution? How do you get across that bridge? Well, let's get properly introduced to Divas Technology College.
Now, this is what I think is so smart about their whole setup. It's built for real life, you know? This is not some rigid, old-school program. We're talking about practical, hands-on training that happens in flexible 2-hour chunks every weekday. That means if you're a student or you're already working, you can actually do it. Throw in flexible payment plans and small classes so you get real attention, and you've got something that's designed for actual people.
And that whole structure is built on a really powerful, simple idea. Let's look at their secret sauce, their model for success. Learn, practice, and earn. And this just lays it all out so perfectly. It's not just one thing, it's a whole system. First, you learn. You gain real skills fast. We're talking weeks, not years. Then, right away, you practice. You're working on real projects for actual local clients, building a portfolio that proves you know your stuff. And then, and this is the key, you earn. The college actually helps connect you to freelance gigs, to job boards, to local businesses. It's a direct path from learning to earning.
So what kinds of skills are we talking about here? Well, basically, the skills for jobs you see posted everywhere. Things like web design and graphic design, every business needs that. Or super in-demand tech skills like data analysis and video editing. Plus, they offer that essential computer packages course that just makes you a pro in any office setting. Every single one of these is chosen because there is a real demand for it in the job market right now. But you know, hearing about a program is one thing. The real proof is always in the stories from the people who've actually been there. These are the stories of real change. So let's take Samiyu, a student from Pwani University. For him, it was about getting those fundamentals absolutely right. That computer literacy course wasn't just about learning Word and Excel. It was about building the confidence to walk into any job and know he could handle the digital side of things. That's the foundation for everything else.
And then there's Ruth, also from Pawnee University. For her, learning one specific skill was, in her words, a game changer. Learning to build websites meant she could suddenly create something valuable. She could get freelance work, apply for developer jobs. It opened up whole new doors. That's the model right there in action. Learn a real skill, unlock a real career.
Okay, this all probably sounds pretty interesting, but I'm sure you have some practical questions. So for our last section, let's just tackle the most common ones head on.
All right, the big one first. What if I'm a complete beginner? Like, I know nothing. Well, that's actually perfect. The courses are specifically designed for beginners. They start you at square one and make sure everyone is comfortable before moving on. So no experience is no problem at all. And then, of course, the money question. This is another place where they really try to remove the barriers. You absolutely do not need to pay for everything all at once. You can start with just half, and they have flexible payment plans to handle the rest. They make it manageable. So if you're thinking this might be the right move for you, or even if you just have more questions, here is how you can get in touch with them directly. Give them a call, shoot them an email, and start the conversation.
Which really brings us all the way back to the most important question of all. Now that you've seen the problem, the solution, and the path, are you ready to stop just collecting knowledge and start turning your skills into an actual career?